Hello everyone and welcome to November's skill series, Easy Thanksgiving Sides. You know, Thanksgiving can be an overwhelming time of year. The Thanksgiving feast has a lot of pressure on it, but thankfully we have a lot of Thanksgiving products to ease some of that stress. Our stuffings are one of my favorite shortcuts for Thanksgiving because the key to a delicious stuffing is that your bread is super dried out and extremely flavorful from the jump. So our stuffing mixes are a perfect solution to, just giving yourself, a little ease in some of that prep, which we all know can be overwhelming. So today I'm using our organic focaccia stuffing. I'm gonna come back to our cranberry relish soon. There's a very standard recipe on the back. So, it takes your classic celery and onion, some stock and some butter. That's baseline, but you can really customize these stuffings. First step, I'm gonna take all my delicious seasoned, super dried out bread cubes and pour it into a large bowl. You want the bowl to be big because you're gonna be tossing and you want a lot of room. So for the aromatics for this stuffing, I'm using, sausage isn't really technically an aromatic, but it is going to add a ton of flavor and a little bit of fat and just some really deliciousness. I mean, it's sausage, right? So I have some fennel sausage and I'm also pouring in all of that accumulated fat because where there's fat, there's flavor. Next up in the same skillet, I'm going to saute some onion and some celery. This is when you can add any other sorts of vegetables you want, or chestnuts, or any nuts you can add in. Okay, so in the same skillet as my sausage, I'm gonna add a little bit more fat. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 onion and a few ribs of celery, big pinch of salt. What you don't need to add, which I really love about our stuffing mixes, is any herbs, because I don't know about you, but I hate chopping herbs. Also, if you're going for kind of more of a traditional stuffing, a lot of people love to add chestnuts. So this would be a good time to add those as well. Okay, you can see I got some really nice color. So I'm gonna take this off heat and let this cool for just a moment. I'm gonna warm up my stock. So to my bowl with the stuffing cubes and the sausage, I'm gonna add my onion and celery. I'm first gonna give this a big stir. Now, a few things to note about the stock. One, I'm warming the stock. Warm stock will allow it to absorb into the bread a lot more evenly and a lot faster, honestly, so that you don't have to wait forever for this process. But speaking of waiting forever, it does require a little bit of patience because you want to slowly incorporate the stock. You might not need all of it on, the instructions call for 3 to 4 cups. There's a range for a reason. If you add too much too quickly, you'll end up with soggy stuffing, and nobody likes the soggy stuffing. So I like to go nice and slow with this, about a ladle at a time. And I'm just mixing until I don't see any more stock pool at the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside just for a moment while I prepare our baking dish. To prepare my baking dish, you can either use a 9x13 or a 9x9 with some higher sides if you like a thicker, more, again, bread pudding-y stuffing. I'm going old school with a stick of butter. This is the way my grandmother taught me, so Okay, now I'm gonna add my stuffing to the dish, and I'm not gonna spill. Again, I'm using a smaller dish on purpose. This will allow more steam to get trapped in the center of the stuffing, which will give it that nice soft center. I don't think it says this on the box, but it says it in my heart, is just to add a couple more pads of butter on top. I like a nice brown top, but I also like a lot of moisture in the stuffing. So I'm gonna start with it covered and then take it off so it gets nice and brown and crispy on the outside. So to the oven we go. Okay, our stuffing is out of the oven and it is roasty and it is toasty on top, and it's time to serve it up. So I'm gonna get a nice big scoop. You can see it's nice and crispy on top. Oh, but the inside is like a beautiful bread pudding consistency. Put this on my plate. And to serve it up, we have our brand new Cabernet and Citrus Cranberry Relish. This is brand new this season. It's delicious. It's made with some deep red wines, the perfect amount of citrus. It just adds a lovely depth. There's a good sweetness, there's a good tang. This is by far my new favorite flavor. Beautiful. You can see all those cranberry bits. My mother would never let me not garnish something. So a little piece of fried rosemary on top. And that is how you make the ultimate Thanksgiving stuffing using our shortcut, our Sonoma focaccia stuffing. And it's easy as that. Time to eat.